If you must blink, do it now. Hello everyone, it's me, Clayton, and I'm here to do my review of Kubo and the Two Strings. I realize that the term perfect isn't always the most accurate term, but some films are just so good that the term is simply the only word you can use. And Kubo and the Two Strings is one of those films, much like Zootopia, where I couldn't find a single thing wrong with it. It's an animated film with tons of things to enjoy, and it's a strong contender for the best animated film of the entire year. But let's get to my reasons why, shall we? The story starts in Japan, and it's about a little one-eyed boy named Kubo, played by Art Parkinson. He cares after his sick mother by telling stories, epic stories about monsters and magic, and a samurai warrior named Hanzo. Unfortunately, one night when he's not supposed to stay out in the dark, his evil aunts, both played by Rooney Mara, are sent by the Moon King, played by George Takei, to steal back Kubo's one remaining eye. Kubo's mother saves him, but then Kubo is sent on an epic quest to reclaim his father's armor, along with the help of a monkey, played by Charlize Theron, and a beetle, played by Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, I am not making a single bit of that up. Now, this story seems very bizarre, and it's surprisingly original, and in a summer movie season where we've had sequels and remakes and adaptations of comics, an original story like this actually works out favorably, as even though it's a film that uses several often used fantasy genre tropes, these characters are incredibly fun to watch. Kubo especially is a very wide-eyed, innocent kid, but you can tell he has tons of creativity with his stories, but he still feels like an authentic kid character, and a lot of that comes through with his vocal performance by Art Parkinson. In fact, all of the characters are genuine with their vocal performances. From the stoic action hero of Theron as the monkey, to the more comedic hero of the beetle, played by Matthew McConaughey, to the truly villainous sisters, played by Rooney Mara. Every single character's voice fits their personality very well, and the characters really come alive mainly due to the actors portraying them, which is always something that voice acting should do. Not only that, but Leica Entertainment has once again created a world that lives based on its stop-motion animation. The stop-motion animation here is undeniably gorgeous. Taking several cues from classic Japanese anime, the stop-motion style is colorful, it's stylish, it's full of visual flair, and there were even some character designs that were so good and so large in scale, I thought they were using CGI when really they weren't. It's all stop motion with no computer-generated imagery in the slightest. And that includes one puppet that's said to be the largest stop-motion puppet ever made for an animated film ever. You'll know it when you see it. My jaw hit the floor every time a new character or a new monster was introduced. But of course, great characters and great effects can only be handled well if the story itself is good. And even though it uses several fantasy tropes, the story surprisingly goes into several deep territories, dealing with themes of the loss of your loved ones and the true meaning of family. It really is a film that's a thinking man's film as well as an action man's film, as it's a film that you absolutely need to see for the effects and the characters, but also one for the story. When the film isn't hitting you with hard-hitting action sequences that are incredibly well animated, or isn't hitting you with surprisingly well-done comedic moments, its story is heartfelt, it's melancholic, and it's full of emotion. Mainly because all these characters' relationships are done very well. One other thing that I need to mention is the villain of the story, the Moon King, played by George Takei. I don't want to spoil too much about him since he's used in a limited fashion, but let's just say that George Takei's vocal performance is very fitting for the character, and the way the movie ends really lets you know that really lets you know that the Moon King is an excellent villain, mainly because no one else could be the Moon King other than George Takei. Speaking of the ending, without going into spoiler territory, it's one of the most heartwarming, fitting, and most emotionally driven endings I've seen all year. And while Zootopia was a film that I think handled a more topical message, I think this film was just the more epic adventure. It had a huge sense of scale, tons of amazing action, amazing visual effects, great characters, and all of it was wrapped together in Laika's signature tone of, of epic stories that Disney, DreamWorks, Pixar, and Sony won't be able to tell. Bottom line, this is one of the best animated films of the year, and it needs to be seen to be believed. That's why I give Kubo and the Two Strings a perfect 10 out of 10. I'll see you guys later.